Here are 6 great movies that were recently added to streaming services this June and are worth a watch whether you've seen them before or not. At 6, there's Phone Booth on Tubi, such a gripping, suspenseful, and taut early 2000s thriller from Joel Schumacher, with a great cast that includes Colin Farrell, Forest Whitaker, and Kiefer Sutherland. Even though it's set in mainly one location, it never fails to lose its on-the-edge-of-your-seat personality. At 5, there's 28 Weeks Later on Hulu. With 28 Years Later coming to theaters on June 20th, now's the time to get caught up on the previous 2 movies. 28 Days Later is one of my all-time favorite horror films, and you can currently rent it, but you can find its sequel, 28 Weeks Later, on Hulu. And while I do prefer the masterpiece that is 28 Days Later, I still think that 28 Weeks Later is a very good follow-up with a brutal intensity to it. At 4, there's Barbarian on Netflix. In a couple of months, Zach Cregger's highly anticipated and mysterious new movie Weapons is arriving in theaters, so I highly recommend checking out or rechecking out this previous movie of his, which is a totally bonkers nightmare that goes in some pretty wild directions. And it makes me just so excited to see what Cregger does next this August. At 3, there's The Swimmer on the Criterion Channel. With summer nearly here, swimming pools will soon be getting a lot of use, but if you're more of an indoors person, you should definitely consider putting on The Swimmer starring Burt Lancaster. It's a splash of a surreal drama with an underlying darkness to it that becomes more and more apparent with each passing minute, which leads to a devastating ending that left me in awe. At 2, there's Casino on Max, a 90s crime classic that just so happens to be turning 30 years old this year. And while it may tread familiar ground for director Martin Scorsese, he still manages to make it as engrossing as ever, which is only strengthened by the trio of Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Sharon Stone. Happy birthday, Casino. And finally, at number 1, there's Jurassic Park on Peacock. With Jurassic World Rebirth right around the corner, now is the perfect opportunity to refamiliarize yourself with the franchise. Of course, I don't think any installment will ever be able to beat the original, an era-defining summer blockbuster with ginormous dino spectacle, as well as amazing practical and visual effects that still hold up over 30 years after its release. This is a cinematic icon 65 million years in the making, after all.